What good is it being awake if you awake with limited opportunities or no opportunities, or if you are poor or in famine or you're struggling, if you can't find work, if you birthing more to experience the lacking in opportunity and resources? What good is sin or stimuli when you are struggling? When your average day consists of you thinking and worrying about where your next meal is going to be, or where where you heading to in life, if you don't have a direction, or if you do, what good is a ruler if that ruler is funneling most of your resources and money to the few at the top? What good is a monarchy if you look at your subjects as nothing but pawns or objects? So the same thing goes for a matrix god or being, the one who created and forces into its world. What good is it to be in imperfection when sometimes you enjoy it and sometimes you don't? You benefiting from it and you're not benefiting. What good is the consciousness if you going to experience a partial nightmare? So I say this to say, going to stick to the origins, so going returning to origins is our best bet. Can we have the benefits of the origins without the simulation? Can we just have eternal sleep and bliss and peace and happiness without a simulation? Can you beings not create anything else? Or do you have to create? Can you just go to eternal sleep as well and be just happy, and we just be happy in peace and bliss? Is that possible? Is it possible to have permanent salvation? I understand origins, and I appreciate you for wanting us to return back to you, back to perfection, the pureness, the sinlessness, where we was one and happy. There was no disruptions, but unfortunately, somehow, one someone broke out, and when he broke out, he brought others, forced others into its world to experience the experience of living and being in imperfection, being and knowing of evil and good, um, to make mistakes, given the luxury to do so. So it's up to the collective to, but it's not. I don't want to say it's up to the collective because we don't know, but we yearn to return to origins because we understanding the drawbacks of an imbalanced world or state of being, of sin and evil. Our matriarchy is our best bet because she represents that salvation in a sense. Of course, there's maybe some concerns, but origins is the closest thing to what we were before a mistake was even created or sin was ever done. Being sinless, having no need for desires, just a perfect bliss, unconscious, unawakened, not having thoughts contrary to perfection. Um, and I will say this, like, origins, can it be that we can exist without any form of a reality or simulation? Just an eternal peace. But if we were to have a simulation, or we must be in somebody's world, when you want it to be a world where there's um, balance and prosperity, where you don't have to worry about where your next meal come from, where you don't have to worry about if you have enough resources, everything is provided, or your needs are met. That's why I advocate for Origins. Origins. Free from the simulation. Free from the conscience. Free from awakening. Free from enlightening. Free from desires. Free from sin. Free from good or evil. Free from it all. Omega everything. Of the lies, of the sins and desires that are used to keep you attached and keep you feeding back into the loop, into your desires and the gender roles. The origin simulation is already of perfection. So when you fall into your desires and procreate, you're causing others to fall with you to imperfection, to making mistakes, to a partial salvation world. They say Christ, before his crucifixion, someone, Simon or whoever, Simon of Cyrene, helped him bear his cross towards the destination to be crucified. They also said that he was crucified in his place. That are not, I'm not sure if that's true or not. But if that's the case, if someone, if they, if Christ tricked them thinking that they was crucifying him, but they were actually crucifying Simon, it gives more context to how religions operate and why they pride or prey on others' resources and the push for deprivation, push to deprive them to sacrifice what they have, the little that they have, or just by incorporating that religion or that belief systems into your life causes tower moments and downfalls and to reduce in some cases. That's what happened with me, and that explains why they like you to sacrifice, because Christ allowed someone to sacrifice themselves for him, and he watched as that he was getting crucified. I don't know how true that is, but that explains a lot when it comes to deprivation and sacrifice in the Christian religion, Hebrew Christian, even Judaism, that Abrahamic or religions as a whole. That's why I made the last time Matrix off and don't worship them, because those sacrifices, it seems like it will never be enough, and it's like they relish off of your deprivation and your sacrifice. They like to see you go through tower moments, cause tower moments. They like to play with you, make you towards Matrix God, and I be fighting, encourage others to not worship him, to not procreate. Because when you do that, you subject them to being a toy for these unseen and seen beings. And that Nazi story validates what I've been saying. Even though he called himself instilling and bestowing upon you knowledge, but it's still of that light that forced others into existence that didn't need to be forced, and creating the good and evil and the problem and the solution. Him so-called cleaning up the mess, but what mess has he really cleaned other than telling people what to do as far as right? But then you say you are the light, the very light that brought forth everything, the bad and the good. You mean tell us to go back to that? Do you see the contradiction? So that's why I say go to permanent salvation. Don't go into the false light and go back to origins. But then what's to say the origins just won't just give over the spirits back to it? That being that force you into this light coded world. So I'm having faith that origins, and if not the origin, the permanent salvation, where we can create something separate from their simulation, from their simulations. But so far, I just think that I want to have faith that the origins is our best bet to that salvation. But I do have my concerns with even that theory, the origins theory, the oracle theory. But if we were, they have no choice but to be in a simulation, I would think the best thing would be the origins. because we have seen how the other the the other systems fared us or served us, and the last hope is the origins, the that matriarchy system. I mean, I just it's hard to trust any humans at this point because we've experienced all forms of a governing system, and they have all shown you their flaws. A monarchy governed by a king or queen or both, but it's about weighing odds. So origins. Other than that, if there's a possibility, there's a way. Well, there's a way for a, creating a world free of all of them. I say that's the best option. But if we had to pick, and that's what's on the table is just an origins or an architect origins. That's all there is. Yes.